Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody to our Engineering Your Career Success presentation. Thank you so much for joining us for this discovery session and for your interest in the Schulich School of Engineering. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge that the University of Calgary sits on the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. The city of Calgary is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. In this session, you'll discover the opportunities students have for co-ops or internships. You'll also find out more about our professional development programs and the support from the Engineering Career Centre you would receive studying engineering at the University of Calgary. It is my pleasure to introduce our two panelists for today, here to speak to you and answer your questions at the end of the session. Candice Menger is a manager within the student services area, and Brooke McKay is our she's in her final year, returning recently from her internship. So we can't wait to hear more about that experience from you, Brooke. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really appreciative of your time. So as Nicole mentioned, my name is Candice, and we have Brooke on the line with us as well. And this session is specific to engineering your career success. In the bottom left-hand corner of your slides, you're going to notice a little QR code. And we'd really encourage you to please submit your questions via that throughout the presentation. We have a team in the background answering those questions as they come in, and we'll address some of them at the end of the presentation as well. So perhaps with that, we'll just jump right into it. So if you've had the opportunity to join any of our other Discover engineering sessions throughout today, you're going to notice that we have talked a lot about the Schulich Engineering Edge. And so there's kind of 5 components to that. The first being that path to Schulich. And there's not one single path to join us, but the important thing is that you apply early. So applications opened on October 1st, so do definitely get your application in early. The second is that we hope that you've had the opportunity today to hear about all the amazing opportunities for education experiences here at Schulich. We're creating new virtual learning methods and have hands-on mentorship programs for all of our students. And then in this presentation specifically, we're going to focus on work experiences and co-curricular experiences and how they feed into your career success when you graduate from our program. And then lastly, your mental health and resiliency is important to us here at Schulich. We want you to have a whole experience. Reaching out is an important part of maintaining your health and wellness. So once a week, we have a wellness counselor that's here in the Engineering Student Center to connect you with student wellness support on campus. And we organize wellness events to ensure that you're supported through your entire journey with us. So kind of step 1 of that career success really comes back to what are you going to specialize in? At Schulich, you're going to get a foundation in all the majors during your first year before you specialize. This is going to allow you to develop a strong foundation in how all the disciplines actually fit together. And you're going to have more information so that you can make the best choice for you. On this slide here, there's all the programs that you can choose to specialize in. At the top, we have our new biomedical engineering program, and it's really an outstanding program. It's all about finding ways to improve the lives of people and animals through engineering. There's technology and problem solving and medicine all mixed together. Chemical engineering is all about transforming raw materials into useful products. It can be working with pharmaceuticals, healthcare, plastics, energy, and so much more. It's really a broad-based form of engineering. Civil engineering is all about helping the environment and building smart communities. So transit, safe bridges and buildings, water safety systems, and all that good stuff. Electrical engineering is about creating new technologies through the manipulation of electricity, or finding new ways to better harness sustainable energy. Geomatics engineering is one of the fastest growing information sciences. So think about the GPS in your phone, managing big data, or the Internet of Things. And we pretty much have the best geomatics department in Canada. Mechanical engineering encompasses everything from robotics to artificial joints to designing cutting-edge vehicles. So if you like to design, make, and build things, then mechanical engineering might be a great choice for you. Oil and gas engineering prepares you to work in our energy sector. And software engineering is in-demand field. Companies are looking for tech talent everywhere. We also offer a dual degrees program where you can earn a full engineering degree and a full business degree in as little as 5 years. So with this, you get access to our to career supports from both the Schulich School of Engineering as well as the Haskins School of Business. And speaking of career supports, the Elka and Sanjeev Khanna Engineering Career Center is dedicated to helping you launch your career and is available to you from day one of your degree, right through till graduation. So through career advisors, interactive workshops, and events, the Engineering Career Center is here to help you develop the professional skills you need to be ready for your first job. Gain valuable advice from our engineering employer specialists that are also professional engineers themselves. Learn how to prepare for your first interview. Meet future employers at our industry events and panel discussions. Whatever you need, the Engineering Career Center is here to support. The Engineering Career Practicum is just one of the work experience programs managed by the Career Center. It's a 2-year program, so phase 1 is for first years and phase 2 is for second years. And the program focuses on building professional skills and career readiness. So each phase culminates in a paid work experience over the summer term. These work terms are comprised of really a broad range of opportunities with supports provided to help you draw in the relevance and reflection for how those experiences pertain to you as an engineering student and your future as an engineer. The program covers topics of skills identification, networking, the importance of mentoring, resumes and cover letters, interviews, navigating offers, and all of that good stuff. So now I'm going to pass it off to Brooke to talk about our other paid work experience program.
Awesome. Thank you, Candace. So in Schulich, after third year, you have the choice of going on an internship. So this can be for up to 16 months. And it's a really great opportunity to figure out what types of roles you're interested in. And also the salaries are competitive with an average of $55,000 a year, which definitely doesn't hurt. I've just recently returned from my internship at TransCanada, and I really enjoyed it. I got to work directly with engineers and also attend a lot of field visits, which were 2 things that I was really looking forward to. My team at TransCanada was responsible for predicting and preventing oil spills and ruptures in pipelines all across the province. This was really cool because I have the energy minor and I'm particularly interested in the effects on the environment of these types of processes. So my internship aligned exactly with my interests, which is something I was really grateful for. The cool thing about internships in Calgary is that there are a ton of industries to choose from. So a friend of mine just returned from working at the new Garmin headquarters in Cochrane, and she really enjoyed it. I also know people who worked with alternative energy and even offshore drilling projects out east, which is really neat. The real benefit with internships is that you get to try out a job before you're actually committing to it. So it's a really unique experience to kind of get your feet wet and learn what you're interested in without having to commit to anything. It also gives you experience, which you can contribute towards your PEng, and it can make it easier to get hired kind of down the road when you're looking for a job. So sometimes with only 4-month co-ops, you don't get to achieve as much. The 12 to 16-month option is really great because you learn so much and you'll achieve a lot within that time frame. And there's also a ton of flexibility within the U of C internship program. So you get to choose yourself which jobs that you'll be applying for. And these are all nationally accredited, which means U of C is recognized for the high quality of internships that we offer. Okay, so U of C offers internships locally, but also around the world. So there's internships in Switzerland, Japan, and all over North America. A friend of mine recently actually returned from an internship in Switzerland with a company called AAB. So she worked with software and data analysis with top engineers and physicists in the world. And she helped to create some of their simulations and models that they used. She actually did live on her own while she was there, but a lot of these companies can subsidize apartments and provide living accommodations. They also pay pretty well, so you can save money while you're overseas working and gaining these experiences, which is really, really unique. Okay, so all students are eligible to start applying for internship during third year. So the process here is really cool because it's similar to the real job application process, where you pick the jobs you're interested in yourself, you submit your own resume, and then you attend the interview before you're actually hired. The U of C internship program has a ton of flexibility, and there's also a lot of resources that can help you. So I know they provide great resume workshops and even interview coaching. I really appreciated that they provided a lot of support during internship itself. So they're always accessible, which is really nice. And the recruitment process is year round. So I knew about my placement as early as October. Some people don't find out until April, and they'll be starting in May. So there's a huge time frame from which you can apply, gain experience with interviews, and actually get a job offer. Okay, so this is something that I really cannot recommend enough. Research is awesome for anyone considering grad school, but it's even really great to have on your resume just as something that'll set you apart. Schulich has top engineers that are always developing relevant technology, and they're always welcoming new students. So one of my first projects actually had to do with eliminating tailing ponds in northern Alberta on the oil sands. This was right up my alley because I'm interested in energy, but also the environmental impacts, as I mentioned before. So it was something that I really found I could relate to. And there's just so many different avenues and projects that are offered. So each lab can provide hands-on training and guidance. So as a student, you just have access to anything that you need help with or would like to learn. There's also different grants that students can apply for so that you can get paid during internship, during research. NSERC is available through the government, but PURE is another option that's offered specifically by the U of C for students.
Thanks, Brooke. So kind of switching gears a little bit. So success in the workplace is about a lot more than just what you learn in class. So our engineering leadership program will help you cultivate the professional skills engineering companies are looking for. So participate in interactive style workshops that focus on topics such as teamwork, communication, time management, and emotional intelligence. Network with educators and industry professionals who facilitate the workshops, and just connect with peers in a fun group-based learning environment. So within the leadership program, there are 3 sequential levels. So the first one focuses on self-awareness, effective communication, time management, and teamwork. The second focuses on successful networking, conflict resolution, situational leadership, and difficult conversations. And then the third on strategic planning, project management, and engaging a diverse team. So successful completion at each of those levels then goes towards your co-curricular record and co-curricular certificate of completion.
Okay, so I really feel like clubs and teams and clubs are the best way to branch out at Schulich. You'll meet so many people, you'll make a lot of friends, and you also have the opportunity to travel or go to cool events, which is really nice. Schulich has the most dynamic and engaging extracurricular activities on campus. So there's more than 80 engineering student clubs and teams. There's really something for everyone. Like there's so much variety in the teams and clubs that you can apply for. Engineers Without Borders is involved with helping less fortunate countries. You can also help to build homes in Mexico with Houses for Hope, or you can contribute to concerts with Schulich Sound Stage as just an example of a few of them. There's also a solar car team that we're known for because they recently won first place in their class at Formula Sun Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. And this was actually on the same track where IndyCar Classics are held. So the Calgary team beat some major schools from all over Canada and the States, so we're particularly proud of them. There was also a club recently that traveled to Peru and brought electricity to a village in the Andes Mountains for the first time. And there's different options to be accommodated if you're an athlete as well. So some of the students are also in varsity sports, and the academic advisors work closely with them to help create a schedule that accommodates their training.
So before I continue, I do just want to draw attention. Again, if you guys do have any questions, please do submit them via that QR code down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We do have a team answering questions throughout. So I just wanted to remind everyone of that. We definitely welcome the questions. and continuing on with the presentation, I don't have to tell anybody on the line here that engineers are designers, builders, and makers. And so the Maker Multiplex has everything you need to really bring all your ideas to life. So these are open labs that create a welcoming environment where you can have positive experiences, gain wisdom, develop new technical skills, build confidence, learn collaboration skills, and really just unlock your creativity. So through rapid prototyping and 3D printing, you can bring your design ideas and creations to life in the 3D printing room. You can develop metalworking and hands-on experience using lathes, mills, drill presses, and saws in the metal and wood shop. You can experiment with sound, instruments, software, and mixing boards. You can enjoy a jam session or practice rooms and spend time in our fully equipped recording studio in the sound lab. You can learn about, build, test, and compete in robotics and mechatronics. You can tie together your skills in building, electronics, microcontrollers, programming, and more in the robotics and mechatronics lab. You can access a range of hotworks equipment. So you can learn how to use a plasma cutter, welders, grinders, a sandblaster, and more of the tools you would need for metals fabrication in our welding shop. And you can learn basic sewing techniques. You can use unique fabrics and paint in our mini paint booth in the arts and textile room.
Okay, so every Schulich student completes a fourth-year project, and this draws on knowledge from every area of your degree. So these are 8 months long, and they involve solving relevant industrial challenges, which is pretty cool. These projects can be sponsored by the school, but also other private companies. And you can also be proposed by the students themselves. So you have the opportunity to actually invent something. One recent project was a device that removed plastic from the rivers. And there was also a bike that can travel safely through ice and snow, as well as a DNA sequencer that was recently built. So some of these result in small businesses or even patents down the road. There's a ton of potential for business. And each spring, the soon-to-be graduating engineering class presents capstone projects at the design fair. So this is an opportunity for students to practice professional communication skills, as well as meet future engineers and learn about relevant industry challenges.
So Zeta is our digital innovation hub, and this is a resource that's also available to Schulich students. So it's our vehicle for digital transformation. Here, our researchers and our students come together to develop integrated digital solutions. So by focusing on that bigger picture and creating digital systems that work together seamlessly across industries, Zeta will raise the bar for technology research and prepare our graduates to be leaders in the digital revolution. So Zeta's Digital Design Lab is our main teaching and learning space for digital innovation workshops, hackathons, and individual and group project work on artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, and cybersecurity. The virtual reality and augmented reality room is our specialized lab for visualization technology development, such as virtual reality, augmented reality, and then mixed reality applications. And the Internet of Things is our space for sensor and software development, where data collected from various parts of the IoT can be brought together, analyzed, and displayed. So if you have a project that you want to work on, you can book the space via our online booking system as a Schulich student. So as we bring our presentation to a close, we just wanted to highlight some key dates to you. The first of which being October 1, I mentioned that earlier. The applications are now open, so do apply early. December 1 is our Prestige Awards application due date. And December 15th is when the documents are due for that award. March 1 is the fall admissions applications due date, and March 15th is the due date for high school transcripts. And then May 1 is the deadline to accept your admissions offer. And so as we come to a close, before we jump into the questions that were submitted via that QR code throughout, I do just want to remind everyone that if you have questions later on today, at any point, a week from now, a month from now, feel free to reach out to discoverengineering@ucalgary.ca. We have students that monitor that email. They'll reach out to you. They're happy to share their experiences and answer any questions that you have about our program and what you can expect here with us.
Thank you both, Candace and Brooke, so much for that great presentation. And I'm excited to see what sorts of questions that it might have prompted from our students that are viewing, our potential students. So let's start off with this first question. Somebody is wondering if they're guaranteed an internship if they're an engineering student. How does that work?
So we have a really high placement rate and a strong team that's going to help you find that internship. So while an internship isn't guaranteed, it comes down to that student reaching out for support. And if you want an internship, then let's figure out together how to make that happen. Brooke, you talked about the accepting offers from October right through up until May when internships started, and there's a wide span in there, and everybody's journey is a little bit different. Would you add to that in any way?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think I found it an advantage because I think there was a little bit less pressure than having to apply just like in one specific time frame. So even as you're going through, if you're doing internships or applying to different jobs, I think it just helps you kind of gain an idea of what you're looking for. So one thing that I kind of remembered the entire time was to just keep an open mind. So I was pretty open to the industry that I wanted to work in, but I know some people know exactly which industry they're interested in and the company that they're working in too. So that can be helpful. It just kind of depends on your approach that you're, I guess, taking for internship. But yeah, it definitely depends on the person.
Taking a look at this next question, this student is wondering, does the school actually place you into an internship position directly, or do you have to apply to the company itself?
So we have a close relationship with a lot of employers. And so a lot of employers will post their jobs with us on our career link job board. So students can apply directly to those placements via that job board, but they're also welcome to do what we call an independent job search as well. So if they find an opportunity through an internal network, or maybe it's with an employer that we don't quite yet have a relationship with, they're open to apply directly to those opportunities as well, and they'll count towards internships.
Okay. And we had a question too about the graduate employment rate, which I think is quite high for Schulich. Do we have any numbers for this past year or recent years or an average?
I don't know if this answers the question directly, but I believe 91% of our students will graduate with work experience, paid work experience.
Okay, wonderful. What about getting into the internship? Do all students who study engineering end up with an internship?
Internship is not mandatory. It is an optional opportunity for students. A lot of students do choose to take advantage of that internship path, I would say. And I apologize, I lost my train of thought there. Brooke, do you want to chime in?
Sorry, I think I was on mute. Yeah, so again, I think this kind of just goes back to each individual person. So some people actually aren't interested in doing an internship at all. But I think the really nice thing at Schulich that I noticed is that you don't have to decide until your third year. So realistically, you have a lot of time to learn about the engineering program that you're in, the industries that you might be in, and whether or not you want to commit to the internship program. So yeah, it's nice because there's just a lot of flexibility.
So this has a lot of questions in it. Somebody wondering about internships available local versus global, as well as wondering about the nature of the jobs that are available locally. Are they mostly oil and gas related? So why don't we start with the first one? Are there very many international internship opportunities for our students, I guess, once we're allowed to safely travel in this new environment?
Yeah, we definitely have a fair few that the employers that we have ongoing relationships with and have for many, many years. And so Brooke spoke about that with her friend going with ABB. And there's many other companies that we work with and have on a regular basis for a long time. But then we also have students that, they have a dream employer. There was one. We had a student reach out via one of their independent job postings, and she was able to secure a placement with them. So it's really, what are you looking for? We can support you in that independent job search, and how to network and how to utilize online resources. It's really, what do you want from your internship experience? Engage with the Engineering Career Center, and then let's work together in making that happen.
And the diversity of the jobs that are available through internship, can you address that?
We have everything. And two, ones that are local. I think when I first joined the team, I had taken for granted just what Calgary's industry was, but we really have a thriving, very diverse industry here in Calgary. We have aerospace, we have manufacturing. There's so much here in Calgary that, again, what do you want from this experience? And let's work together to figure it out.
Alrighty. And one of the questions coming in here is about what students can do to give themselves an even further edge besides seeking career experience, things like volunteering. Does that make a difference for students in the employment area?
Brooke, do you want to chime in?
Well, I think my situation was a little bit unique because I was a transfer student. So I actually studied chemistry at a different university before transferring here. But I think in my experience, the more diverse, I guess, you can be, probably the better. So I think all of those things just would add to make you kind of a better candidate overall. But I can't say for sure about that one. So.
Yeah, kind of building on what Brooke said, that being a well-rounded candidate. So things like the leadership program, engaging in the maker space, the different clubs and opportunities on campus. There's more to a degree than just what's in the classroom, and there's so much more available to you to complement your in-class learning that just makes you a stronger, more well-rounded engineer. And it's those sorts of things that are really going to make you competitive when you're looking for a job.
Thank you so much. That's great to encourage others to really round their experience out. It doesn't have to all be about academics, does it?
Exactly.
During the fourth year, when you're on the internship, are you still taking classes at the university? Are you fully engaged in your job?
Brooke, why don't you take this one?
Sure, yeah. So I remember when I went on internship, they really highlighted the fact that your priority is your job. So you have the option of taking classes, though, as well as doing your job, as long as you're focusing on your job. And I think most of them are full-time hours. So it is pretty busy, but I was able to take a couple courses. Like I think I took even just one night class a semester. And it works really well, actually. And then it helps lighten your load for the last year. So I think if you're able to manage it and if you find classes that work for you, like it's definitely a good route to do. But again, like your priority is your internship while you're on it.
Here's a really good question. Oh, sorry, Candace, did you have more to add?
I was going to say, yeah, like Brooke said, the focus is really on getting that real world work experience. And there is the opportunity, if it, like Brooke said, if it works for you, that you can take up to one class per term. But also when you are out on internship, there's some modules as well that you're working on that are helping, because it is an academic course. So there are some modules that you're working on. They're facilitated by an academic. They're facilitating some of that reflection and really making sure that you're taking away every learning opportunity from that work experience as well. So as Brooke said, it can be a bit of a load to juggle the actual demands of your job as well as those internship modules. But if it does work for you, you can add an extra class in there as well.
Thank you. Taking a look at how things operate in Alberta with becoming a professional engineer, does the organization that grants that status and designation recognize an internship towards the engineer in training certification?
Yeah, typically they will. So again, it comes down to APEGA is independent from the university, of course, but generally, because we are an accredited program, the quality of the experiences we are offering students, they are meeting that threshold. And so APEGA looks at that experience, and it is usually counting towards your EIT.
And this second part of the question is, we're wondering if you could differentiate between the Engineering Career Practicum Program and the Engineering Internship Program in terms of who they're available for, length, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. So the Practicum Program, that's targeted to our first and second year students. And so there's learning opportunities throughout the course of the year. And then you go out on a work placement on the summer term. And then our internship program, that is geared really towards our third year students. So after they've completed third year, they go out on internship for a full 12 to 16 months.
Okay, wonderful. Next question here. Does the school make internships available for students just when they enter third year, or are there alternatives for that? I guess that means, are they starting to look for their internships at the beginning of their third year?
Yeah, they are. So like Brooke had mentioned, looking at internships really early. Sometimes employers will start posting as early as the end of August throughout September. So that's really early. But because you are applying directly to employers, you are able to kind of take control of that. It's when you formally apply to the internship program, that happens kind of mid-September-ish, I guess, Brooke, if you would agree. But yeah, you start applying for your actual internship jobs very, very early on. And if you are working with the Engineering Career Center in your first and your second year, you've got a cover letter that's really great, and you've got a resume that's really great, and you're ready to hit the ground running come third year. I don't know, Brooke, would you add to that in any way?
No, I think you hit that pretty well. Yeah. So I think kind of doing little things to prepare would be helpful. And like Candace said, working on your resume ahead of time is usually really good advice, because it's actually more work than you'd think. And you can always be adding things, like probably right until you're starting third year, you'll be adding new things. So I'd say in September is when people really start looking.
Taking a look at the types of opportunities, are people able to do more than one internship if it's for a shorter period of time?
Yeah, so that's one of the great things about the Schulich program, in that there is just so much flexibility for students to do what is right for them, because everyone's journey is a little bit different. So like I mentioned, typically you're doing a 12 to 16 month with one employer, and then you're really getting to experience, the depth of the experience that you get. You're really getting to see what that first year engineering experience is. You're operating at an EIT level. But you can sometimes, maybe you want to see two different employers and have that experience, because, the type of work and the culture, like, that's very, very different. And that's a big opportunity to be able to weigh those differences and see them. So you can do 2 8-month consecutively, for example. So the trick is that during internship, you're doing 12 to 16 consecutive months of paid work experience. And it could be with one employer, it could be with 2, it could be with 3 if you broke it up like that as well. So as you're in the driver's seat, I guess, in what that experience looks like for you.
Here's a question about what do you do if you're uncertain about what direction you want to take your engineering career in? How do students decide on a major and an area of focus?
Mm-hmm. So Brooke, jump in anytime, but I would say that taking advantage of all of the opportunities and expertise at the Engineering Career Center, and actually all the faculty as well. Like Brooke talked about how amazing our faculty and our researchers are, and they are always open to share their experiences, and they have lots of industry contacts. But also, we're always bringing industry, to connect with students through panels, through networking, through all of these sorts of things. So engaging with those industry connections that we bring forward, that can be a really great way to explore different majors and what career paths might you be interested in. You can sit with a career advisor at the Engineering Career Center as well, that their specialization is helping you work through these questions and figuring out what is best for you. We have 2 employer specialists on staff as well. They're professional engineers. They come with a ton of industry experience before they join the team here, and they're great resources too. Brooke, how would you, from your experience?
Yeah, I feel like that's really sound advice. Like there's tons of resources. I think engineering seems a bit unique with the EIT program too. So once you graduate as an EIT, you can do a rotational program. So when you actually start working, you can work for different companies or within a company in different areas. So basically you never stop having variety in your work or being exposed to different aspects of the job, which is really great. And I also don't think it's a bad thing to not know which direction you want to go into, because it's good to be open-minded, and I think that can actually be a strength down the road. So you don't have to have all the answers right away, and even later I don't think you have to have all the answers. So yeah, it's nothing to worry about.
I think that's really wise advice, Brooke. Like a really strong engineer is never just staying kind of in their little bubble, right? We're interacting with other disciplines, and there's so much crossover, and we're strongest when we're working with others. And so, like Brooke said, just be open to the opportunities and see where the journey takes you.
And what is the deadline for early admissions, or has that already passed?
Nicole, maybe Tyler could remind me of what that is. So December 15th is the deadline for the early admissions, and they opened on October 1.
Okay, fantastic. How about this? A lot of students interested in engineering maybe are concerned about their physics marks. Is there another way into engineering, or how does it affect their admissions?
So yeah, there's definitely, that is definitely a possibility. It's not a deal breaker in any way whatsoever. I had notes on this, my apologies. So basically you're gonna enter in or apply through to be considered via the Bioengineering Summer Institute path. And within that, you're gonna participate in a summer, almost like a boot camp that's really gonna give you the foundation of what you need to be successful. So if you've taken the biology, that's gonna help connect really how that connects into the physics and engineering, and it's going to piece all of that together and set you up for success when you join the main engineering program come September.
Taking a look at the university class sizes for engineering, what can people expect? And how many students actually get into their 3rd and 4th year? Is there a good retention rate?
So Brooke, maybe I'll let you talk about class sizes and your experience there. But in terms of the retention rate and success, within Schulich, we're really committed to helping students be successful in every way, whether that's academically or career-wise or whatnot. It all fits together. And so there's lots of academic supports. We have academic development specialists that are focused exclusively on our engineering students. There's a peer mentoring tutoring program. There's a 95% retention rate. So that's really high. When I graduated or went through engineering, many years ago, it was, look to your left, look to your right. One of you is not going to be here at the end. And that's just not the case anymore. So yeah, if you want to graduate from engineering, then let's work together to make you successful. Brooke, do you want to talk about your experiences about the classes?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I'm not sure how many of the applicants are aware, but the first year is just general engineering, and then you'll be kind of in your more specific specialty after first year. So I want to say the first year classes were the largest, and I don't know numbers exactly. But once you go through the general classes, you'll mostly be with classmates that are in the same field as you. So I'm in chemical engineering, which I believe to be one of like the larger divisions. And my classes now in 4th year are about 140. So it's my entire chemical engineering graduating classes with me. And there's a lot of oil and gas engineers in there as well. But I know a lot of them can be as small as like, I want to say 50. And I'm in the A&EE specialization as well. So some of those classes are quite small. I think I had a few that were as low as 30. So I'd say it really ranges, I guess, depending on like which division you're in. Summer and spring classes also tend to be smaller. So yeah, I'd say like the largest classes were in first year for sure. And then they kind of get a little bit smaller and more specialized as you keep going.
Brooke, would you say that, even with the first year classes, was there opportunity with smaller groups through labs and whatnot to, kind of break away from the very, very large group?
Oh, totally. Like it was nice too, because sometimes the class sizes may seem large, but after you attend the tutorials or the labs or just different components of it, they really didn't seem so big anymore. Like you'll make friends really quickly. You even get to know a lot of your professors. Some of them will recognize you from class. So it does feel like a small community. I think that was one thing that I really appreciated about it. So the labs especially, and tutorials, as Candace was saying.
We have a potential student here who's interested in what kind of career opportunities are available after studying oil and gas engineering. Has the opportunity for engineers within the oil and gas sector diversified quite a bit?
So with that oil and gas, like we're still needing oil and gas, and we just need to be that much smarter about how we're producing it, how we're accessing it, and how we're processing it. And so really now more than ever, we're needing engineers. I had one employer, refer to it kind of as the reservoir engineer 2.0. Just the level of data that we're managing and looking at this, it's a whole new level of complexity and innovation and opportunity for really those fun technical problems that engineers love.
Okay, and Candace, you mentioned geomatics engineering earlier. Can you tell us just a little bit more about what kinds of internship jobs might be available in geomatics engineering?
Mm-hmm. So we have lots. There's a lot of, I think it gets taken for granted, the diversity in the jobs that are available to our geomatics engineers. I think a lot of people think of surveying, which is absolutely 100% one of the career paths. But then also, everything, look at your smartphone. So the GPS technology, that Internet of Things, the technical complexity within today's world, a lot of that goes back to geomatics engineers. We have a lot of our students that go work with Garmin or Hexion or, oh goodness, I'm thinking of the aerospace company. They go into aerospace. Really, again, it's what do you want to make of your career with this degree? And there's so much diversity there, whether you want to stay in Calgary or you want to go abroad.
Okay, wonderful. Somebody here is wondering what kind of help you're willing to give for getting their resume ready to apply for internships.
So in terms of getting your resume ready for an internship, like Brooke and I kind of mentioned before, getting started sooner rather than later, I think makes all the difference. Don't wait till that September or October of your third year, and then, because it actually is quite a bit of work to do it and to do it well, but you don't have to do it by yourself, right? Like your very first week, on campus, if you have time, drop by the Career Center and connect with a career advisor and, get some starting tips on our website. And within, we call it D2L, Desire to Learn. And that's where a lot of courses and material and resources get stored. There's lots of information on there to get you started. You're never doing it on your own. And then we talked about as well, like looking at those more holistic experiences that are going to make you that well-rounded engineer. To start adding those things piece by piece to your resume. And if you're looking at doing that right from day one, then it's very, very natural and manageable. Brooke, I don't know, would you add to that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think there's so many resources, and once you get going and you kind of build a template or you build the foundation of your resume. It'll just be like making updates, making changes kind of as you go, as you gain more experience. So I would really recommend getting like the professional help with kind of building the foundation. And then from there, it's pretty easy. And yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of our Q&A and the end of our discovery session.